So that's the thing. What are we going to do for next season? Or maybe the next podcast? I'm just thinking next. How to get to that next level, what to do next.
I'm Botter.
I'm Blythe, and we're the co-founders of the Jax Podcasters United.
And this here's another episode of our local podcaster spotlight series hosted by JPU community members Phil and Eric.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the JPU Podathon. I am Phil Smith, and joining me, my guest is...
Danika Mitchel.
Danika, it is so good to see you again here. We met for the first time at the last podcast meetup, but we've circled the same group for a while since we both have Jaguar podcasts. So tell everybody about the name of your show and what it is all about.
Well, the name of my podcast is First and Teal that I have with my co-host Shayla. We were high school friends.
Where are you?
Right, Shayla's not here. But we're high school friends. Actually, we went to a performing arts high school where we had no sports, but yet here we are talking about Jaguars football and being fans and being women fans who love the game.
Talking about this team that we just love so much that we decided to spend several hours on a week talking.
Yes. That give us heart attacks. We call them the cardiac cats.
There you
sometimes.
go.
The highs and the lows, but we love them.
Exactly. So what led you to the creation of this show? Was it just looking for, wanting to, again, share or find more like-minded fans and also, of course, share your journey, because you had a really interesting journey as well as a Jaguar fan, too, that maybe you want to share with people?
Right. It just started, me and her would have conversations after games, and it really started when we drafted Taven Bryan.
Oh.
And at the time, I understood why we drafted him, but she was just like, no, this is ridiculous. It's a bad idea. And I said, well, it ended up being a bad pick. She was right. I understood why they did it. It just didn't work out. And my brother would hear in these conversations, like, you two should record this and put this out for people here. And so we looked at each other like, we could do this.
Mm-hmm.
So we just decided to start the podcast. And it kind of ended up coinciding with me winning Jaguars Fan of the Year in 2020. And if any of you saw the NFL draft the year that Trevor Lawrence was drafted, I was the lady that they brought up on stage to hold up the jersey by the commissioner. And
you have the ring?
I have the ring. I have the ring. I always have the ring. And actually joining the Fan of the Year is grown now. And the new nominees, it's like a big family and connections. It's really like a community. So I've loved the whole experience, even though I am a former holder of the honor. Yeah,
this should be like a Fan of the Year podcast episode every year.
We do anytime the new name for the Jaguars, I do interview them. I even interview some of the other ones I've done for Denver and for the Saints. So that's awesome. Do talk to the other fans.
Yeah, that's great. And this is kind of a difficult question for, I know, a lot of people here, because if you're like us, you have so many to choose from. Maybe highlight a couple of your favorite episodes, or say if somebody was listening to the show for the first time, maybe this is one you would direct them to.
Oh goodness, I would say the ones to go check out to my experience at the draft.
Yeah,
for Trevor Lawrence, that Cleveland draft, getting back after COVID, everyone's getting the shot and having to be in that environment. You don't know kind of how to interact. You're not around people a lot.
Yeah,
I've never been to the draft. That was a whole new experience. So that is a favorite of mine. And probably I would have to say, anytime the Jaguars lost, it was a bad loss. We
those
really
are spirited episodes.
Right. Those were the really spirited episodes, like maybe the Lions game from last year, or maybe the whole Urban Meyer year. Yeah, there's a lot of gems in there.
Yeah, it was a fun time. And I think if we want to just to kind of piggyback off that, the episode after he got fired, that was a fun episode. It was good for all of us.
Yeah, and I had the news people coming out to me, and they wanted to record, like, well, what do you think? I'm like, well, I'm like anybody else. We were so, what if those magic beans, sold some bad goods here. So,
whatever his sales pitch was, he did. Yeah, he did really, really good.
Yeah,
so.
He did. I mean, and also Shad Khan and let somebody steal $22 million. So I can understand how Urban talked his way into that gig.
That's true. That is, again, another topic for another time. But Nikki, you've been coming to these for a while. Again, the last one is the first time that you and I finally got to meet, even though, again, you've been on the show. But Jay was the one that got to interview you. So and coming to these, what has been some of your your favorite things in terms of meeting people from the community. And, even though a lot of the podcasters here that we meet, they're in totally different niches.
things.
They do different things, but we always find something beneficial or useful every time we come. What are some of your favorite things about coming to the JPU?
Right, just the networking, talking to other
Yeah.
people, finding out what their podcasts are about, and maybe getting ideas after listening to their podcast, like, oh, I hadn't thought of that, or whatnot. So it's just different ideas, different people, different voices to hear from, things that I might not even thought about listening to.
Yeah, every single time. I think you can even pinpoint one thing you want to learn, and you'll probably figure that thing out from one person or another, whether we're at Buzzsprout, whether we're here at Ruby Beach. You can always
Right.
find that person. And I really enjoy the layout of how this one is being handled. You attended a table talk just a moment ago. How did that go?
That went great.
Yeah.
I actually was able to take some ideas, like, oh, I never thought about putting that
Yeah.
in our podcast. And it just like every time went out, it made me think about what we've done so far
Mhm.
and what we've added. And I was like, well, we could add this or take this out, and just the way it's grown or it hasn't grown, just the different things that we could try. It doesn't hurt to try.
Mhm.
So it just gives me fresh ideas, like, well, what are we going to even try for next season?
Mhm.
So that's the thing. What are we going to do for next season? Or maybe the next podcast. I'm just thinking next, how to get to that next level, what to do next.
Yeah, that's a good point too, because we have taken things from here that some of them have worked and some of them don't, and some of them might work for your show that don't work for us. So you're always going to gain something and come away with something beneficial every time that you come here. But Nika, this has been awesome. Let everybody know where they can find your show and social media and everything like that.
First and Teal, we are on Twitter because we refuse to call it X.
Same here.
Instagram, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Google, Facebook. We're there. And you can also find me at Nika989 on Twitter if you want to reach out to me that way.
Absolutely. Well, Nika, thank you so much for your time. It's good seeing you again. And guys, this has been the JPU Podathon, and thanks so much for joining us.